It took me about 4 years to build my independent brokerage to 15 real estate agents. Fast forward now, I'm here at eXp for less than 2 years, about 20 months, and I've built my organization to 150 real estate agents. What's going on, guys? Kyle here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you why I rolled my brokerage that I had been growing for the last 4 years into eXp Realty. So first, let me talk a little bit about my story before I joined eXp. So I had been in general real estate since 2013. I started an independent brokerage right from the start, had actively been selling real estate and building the brokerage at the same time. In about 4 years, had built up that brokerage to around 15 real estate agents here in my local market, San Antonio, Texas. I'll never forget, around 2016, my sponsor, Pat Hayes, had tried to set up an appointment to show me the eXp business model. And I did what a lot of people did at the time. I said, no, I'm not interested, thank you very much. I'm very focused and busy in what I'm doing already. And so I put it off. And it wasn't until about April of 2017, when I was actually filing my taxes, that my CPA had actually asked me. He knew that I was into investments and rental properties and these types of things. And he had asked and said, hey, by chance, you know a guy named Pat Hayes? And at the time I said, yeah, I do. He's been, kind of trying to reach out to me and tell me about this thing he's into. And I just had been kind of blowing him off. He said, well, I think you need to go and set up a meeting because I just did his taxes. And let me tell you, he's doing some pretty interesting things with residual income, something that my CPA knew that I was pretty excited about. So sure enough, when your CPA who sees your numbers, sees somebody else's numbers, tells you to go take a look at an opportunity, finally then was it that I called up Pat and said, all right, man, I'll give you 30 minutes, go to lunch, probably still not gonna be interested, but I'll give you 30 minutes to hear what you're up to. And I'll never forget that lunch. We went to Little Italy, and it didn't take but about 15 minutes for me to actually see the business model of what eXp was offering before I realized, man, this is the perfect business model. Definitely did a deep dive. I'm a researcher. I went through and looked at everything, and I ended up joining eXp in about June of 2017. So I've been here a little less than 2 years. And everything that I saw back then and everything that I saw that Pat was doing and other agents were doing with eXp has now started to finally come true for me. It took me about 4 years to build my independent brokerage to 15 real estate agents. Fast forward now, I'm here at eXp for less than 2 years, about 20 months, and I've built my organization to 150 real estate agents. So 10 times what I had built my independent brokerage to. All right, so what did I see back then and what have I seen now that would be my advice to an independent brokerage owner, somebody who already has an independent brokerage, or maybe you're thinking about starting an independent brokerage? Well, here's what I saw. First of all, eXp Realty was gonna help me be able to cut my overhead to basically zero. Prior to joining eXp Realty, I had about $30,000 a month in overhead. I had an office, multiple support members, an assistant, I had an inside sales agent, a lot of lead generation and things going on so we were able to attract agents. And so things added up. 30 grand went pretty quickly. And the thing is, with that 30,000 in overhead, yes, some of my agents in the brokerage were covering those costs, but the majority of it was me supplementing my sales to be able to cover that overhead. Now you might be saying, oh, well, maybe I don't have overhead, or maybe I'm not gonna need that much overhead to get agents. Well, let me just tell you, you've got to make it an attractive proposal, whatever that's going to be if you're having an independent brokerage, to be able to get and recruit agents to your brokerage. So for me, I was giving a lot more than I probably should have because I was trying to grow my brokerage. And so the thing with eXp is that eXp provides all of the tools, the training, the support, and basically covers the overhead for you. So as an eXp agent or broker, you can attract agents to the company and not have to worry about the overhead of each agent on your books. So basically in 2 years, I've now cut my overhead from $30,000 a month to less than $3,000 a month. And that $3,000 is basically used to be able to support me on my sales side of the business. All of my agents that I've attracted get all of their systems and tools from eXp, which isn't a financial drain for myself. Next, the other thing that was pretty important to me was limiting my legal liability. So when I had 15 agents, you're always trying to support and be there for every single person, but you can't be in every single instance when you have all those agents or more. And so what ended up started to happen was I would get involved in situations where an agent of mine or something would do something, and it would put us and expose us to some legal risk. And so there was actually 2 instances where there was a potential to be sued. And I mean, you don't want to be in a situation like that. Yes, we have E&O and all that good stuff, but even still, that stuff weighs on your mind, and you have to think about it constantly. And so as you get bigger and bigger with more and more agents, that risk is only going to get larger. So moving to eXp, I don't take all of that liability. eXp has brokers in all 50 states that are responsible for the agents. So my job as an attractor is to support and to sponsor that agent. But then as far as the liability, it ends there. It goes on to eXp and the brokerage team to make sure that that agent is doing everything the way they should be legal-wise. So third, and I didn't even really think about this one until I've been with eXp, I would have never thought that it would have been possible, but it's the opportunity to build nationally and now internationally. So again, I go back to having, my brokerage, 4 years, 15 agents, very localized, all here in San Antonio, Texas. I didn't think about when I would be that I could go out and start attracting agents or building a brokerage that would span even into different cities, let alone states and countries. And I'll tell you, now that I've been at eXp for less than 2 years, I've got agents in 28 different states, including 2 Canadian provinces. That's huge. So to be able to expand my business, grow into other states, grow into other MLSs, all I have to do is find an agent. A lot of times I'll get into conversations on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, all those types of places, or maybe when you're going to events and things like that, you meet people all over the country. How awesome would it be that you'd now be able to take advantage of those relationships and of those connections and be able to sponsor them and bring them into a brokerage and not only help them and support them, but it's also going to benefit you as well. So again, if you had told me 2 years ago that I'd be able to grow my business to 28 different states, 150 agents, I would have told you that you're crazy, and that's only because I didn't know what I didn't know when I had my independent brokerage here in San Antonio, Texas. Another interesting thing that I saw when I was first looking at the opportunity to join eXp was the ability to gain equity in the company. And so eXp is publicly traded. We're on the NASDAQ stock exchange. You can check out our ticker symbol, EXPI, and you can kind of see what our stock has done over the last few years. But when I joined 2 years ago, the stock was trading at roughly about $3 per share. Today, at the time of this recording, this is May 2019, the stock is at around $12 per share. And so what you can tell is that once you get into the company, you're going to get awarded stock just for doing things that you're normally doing anyway. So selling homes, capping, sponsoring and attracting agents. I've just been doing all of those things in the 2 years that I've been here. I haven't actually purchased any stock on like the open market or anything like that, but I've been able to acquire over 9,100 shares of eXp stock. So if you do the math, look at what the stock is currently trading at, times that by 9,100, all that has been taking place in the background. I've just taken advantage of the opportunities that eXp provides. And so I'm really building wealth, I'm building ownership in this company while just doing what I'm doing every single day. And the coolest thing about the equity and the ownership of the company is that I think it just gives a whole different feel and different ownership to all of the agents and brokers inside the company, because typically in most brokerages, it's kind of a cutthroat brokerage, cutthroat business. But with eXp, it's a little bit of a different culture. We all want to see each other win. We want to see the company grow, because since we all have ownership in it, as the company grows, our equity positions grow, the stock price grows, so we all win. So it's a whole different atmosphere and culture inside of eXp. So 2 more things. First was that I was going to be able to leverage a big brand nationally and internationally to grow my business, but at the same point still use my local branding here in San Antonio, what I had built in the last 4 years, so I don't lose my identity. So when I had my previous brokerage, it was, I had my handy team at Handy Realty. When I moved over to eXp, all I had to do was, I'm still the handy team, but I'm just now brokered by eXp Realty. I kept my logos, I kept my colors, nothing much really changed. My clients didn't really even notice the shift, but as far as growing goes, having the eXp Realty brand behind me has helped me grow and attract more agents and grow my business much more quickly. A lot of times when you have an independent brokerage, people don't know who you are, other agents, they don't know who you are. They especially want to go to a company that's well known, that gives them opportunity. And when you're an independent brokerage, all you really have to kind of rely on is your personality and kind of selling that person on why you. And then when they join, it's all about you, and you have to really kind of keep that going. Otherwise, that person's going to leave. When you're with a big brand, you sell the brand, and there's less responsibility that you may have to take for that agent. Along that same line, and this is the second one, is that I was able to get my time and financial freedom back. So when I had my brokerage and I had 15 agents, I'm sure there's a lot of you watching this that have plenty more than 15 agents at your independent brokerage, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. But when you are the broker of that small independent brokerage, or maybe even a larger independent brokerage, you're pretty much the center of the universe for those agents. So they're gonna call on you, they're gonna need you for whatever it is that has to happen. Whereas when you're with eXp, you're kind of just the person that points people in the right direction. That's what I've become. And so, you know, say I attract an agent and they have a question, I usually will say, okay, well, did you go to, KV Core 101 training for that? No, you haven't? Okay, go check that out. Come back to me if you still have any questions. Or they might have a question about their check, and I say, well, did you go to the accounting department in eXp World? Oh, you didn't go there? Okay, go there first, and if you still have questions, come back to me. Whereas before, I was the center of the universe for all those agents, so it would take hours out of my day to make sure that all of my agents were satisfied, got what they need, and that was with 15 agents. And so, I'll be honest, that's the biggest reason why I joined the company, is I knew that there was going to be no way that I could really scale this thing bigger than 15 agents without taking on more and more overhead, which is just something that I didn't want to do. So now at this point, I've been able to get my time freedom back because I can leverage eXp's systems, tools, training, support staff, to be just the middleman who kind of points people in the right direction versus being the center of the universe for all the agents. In addition to that, I've also gotten my financial freedom back because now I'm not burdened to be able to spend all this money just to be able to keep agents happy and give them the tools and training that they need. The coolest thing when joining eXp is now it's like I have more agents, and I actually give more to those agents because eXp Realty gives so much in the form of KV Core, stock, revenue share, tons of training, tons of support. So I think that was one of the biggest ahas once I got here, was that, I'm joining this brand. It's going to be less financial risk on my shoulders, but it's going to be able to still give all of the agents that came with me and have now joined since that time much more tools than what I was able to give them as an independent broker. All right, so finally, what I kind of told myself to justify the decision to make that final leap over was, I said, look, I'll give it 6 months. If it's not what it's cracked up to be, I'll know pretty quickly, and I can go back to having an independent brokerage. I can go back to any other brokerage that I want to. But if I don't take advantage of this opportunity and it continues to grow at the pace that it is, I'll never be able to get that opportunity back. So the risk of losing that potential growth in a certain amount of time far outweighed the opportunity that could have come from continuing to try and grow my independent brokerage or do whatever I was doing at the time. All right, so that's it. Again, Kyle Handy, I've been here 2 years at eXp. I absolutely love it. I've been able to grow my organization to 150 agents, which pays me a residual income check that far exceeds anything that I was earning at my independent brokerage. And the coolest thing about that residual income is that it's pure profit. There's no expenses that have to come out from it, because all of the agents are paying into eXp and get all their support and tools from eXp. So it's just been a life-changing deal. I've gotten a lot of freedom back, which is the most important thing to me. As you can see from other videos on my channel, I'm very passionate about my family, my friends, growing as a real estate agent and helping other real estate agents grow. And so this company just really aligned with what I wanted to do. And I think if you're the type that wants to grow something big, you want to have a massive effect on a lot of people all over the country and get rewarded for it financially, then eXp is definitely something that you should continue taking a look into. If there's anything I can do to help answer any questions for you or to make that transition over easy for you, reach out to me. Feel free to give me a call or get in touch with the person who shared this video with you, and I'm sure we can all get in touch and maybe do a 3-way phone call. Be happy to help any way that I can. Thanks so much. Have a great day.